Welcome to the Marketing Strategy Show. I'm Cordelia Kate, and this is a live interactive show that I run every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Each week, I teach one clear marketing strategy that you can actually use in your business. Everything I share on this show comes with practical tools, downloadables, all inside our brand new space called the Strategy Lab. I'm giving you step-by-step guides, checklists, everything you need to implement every single strategy that I'm sharing here. And you can come and get inside for free with a free 7-day trial, and then come say hi, drop in the comments that you're here with me live. If you're on the replay, give me a hashtag replay, and I will see you in a second. Hey, I'm Cordelia, and I built a product called the Thinker in one day using Claude to do most of the heavy lifting. And I launched it live on this show. I did it in 5 steps. It was a real product. I'm going to show you how I did it and how I got sales in that one day. And I'm going to give you the honest version as I walk you through that process using the Thinker as a case study. We're going to build it out together. And I'm also going to include the bit where I tried to validate the product first and discovered that nobody cared, and what I did from there, because there is, oh, and by the way, we were attached to the wrong microphone. You can hopefully hear me a lot clearer now. And today I'm going to walk you that whole process, the pages, the Claude build, the cart, the automation behind it, all step by step, so that you can get an idea that you've got for a product out of your head and into reality so that you can test it. And what I was just saying about the validation side of things, we hear a hell of a lot that we need to validate our ideas. There's loads of waitlist strategies, and people talk about how, Elon Musk, I don't know if I should mention his name, but, puts out that he's going to release a car. Are you interested in it? And if he gets enough interest, then he designs and creates and releases the car. And so we're told this a lot in marketing, that we should validate our ideas before doing them. However, if you have a small and mighty audience, or as I like to call it, a warm and mighty audience, that idea validation can rely on visibility. It can also rely on you communicating your problem or what you're doing efficiently enough so that people fully understand it. And it's not necessarily the only way of doing things. I actually think that what we need to do is the absolute bare minimum we can to just attempt launching something and then see that data. And that is what we're going to do here today. I'm going to walk you through how we're going to build a product here together, and we're going to take it to completion. And then I'm going to show you how to do that whole process from beginning to end. So you are going to need, I'm going to use, and if you want to duplicate what I'm doing and use the same things as me, you're going to need Claude, because why use any other AI? Honestly, it does all the things and it's brilliant. So we're going to use Claude today. Also, I'm going to personally use Go High Level, because it's a good place to build pages and, all in one CRM system. I'm on the lookout for something better, to be honest. There's got to be something better coming. But at the moment, we're with Go High Level, and we will just continue using Go High Level. And we're going to use that for pages and automations, pages being landing pages, the page that people land on when they want to buy your thing. And we're also going to use Stripe to take payments. So that is what we're going to do. And I am doing this live. Full disclaimer, even if you're watching the beautifully polished edit, this is me doing this live. Why am I doing this live? To keep it human, to keep it real, to be here with you, to answer questions, to hold myself accountable, and to just go for it. So the fact that it's live, anything could go wrong. So let's hope nothing does. So that's what we're doing today. Welcome. It's great to have you with us. But before we get into it, I want to tell you a story about the mystery books man. The mystery books man is someone I spoke to years ago when I was sort of a general jobbing business coach, and I was working with people to help them build and grow their online businesses. And I spoke to this guy who had essentially spent months building an affiliate website. He had done loads of research, and he had built by hand, because this is like 2018. So you just imagine, we're pre-AI, we're pre lots of things, and we're in the dawn of the dinosaurs when it comes to web design, in the difficult days where it was actually really tough and really hard. He had spent like a month, maybe a year, building this website, and his concept was that it was going to be an affiliate website affiliated with Amazon. And the products that he was selling on that website were mystery books. Mystery books. All the mystery books he could find, every single one of them was catalogued on this website that he had built. He had created a listing for every single mystery book, and he had written captions for every single mystery book explaining and describing them that were paraphrased from the general descriptions. And he had linked every single one of these mystery books to where you could purchase it on Amazon. And I hated to break the news to him that I didn't think this concept had legs. Because God love him, he had spent a long time building this thing. And why would anybody go to the mystery books website that didn't have a better user experience than Amazon to buy a book when they could just go and buy it on Amazon? It was a replication of an Amazon category for books on another website. It didn't make any sense. And it didn't make any sense for the amount of time that he had spent building it. And, I'm not mocking this guy. I actually think about him quite a lot, because what he did is so human. He found something he was interested in, and he disappeared into the work, and he built the whole thing before he had checked whether a single person would even want to buy mystery books from him specifically, rather than just go to Amazon or Abe Books to go and look for a mystery book. And, I don't know. I don't know what his research process was, but I do know that he had been in the cave building and building and building for months, head down, and it felt productive because there was always something else to do. He was building that website, and there was another page to create, and there was another thing to do. But the problem is that he was stuck in build mode without validation. Now, that's one extreme. The other extreme is when we've got someone who is the opposite of the mystery books man. Instead of getting head down building something for so long, they're trying to validate their ideas, and they are focusing on getting feedback and figuring out whether the idea that they've got has got legs before having the confidence to actually go and build it and put it together and put it out there and try and sell it. They run polls, they ask in Facebook groups, they create surveys, they try and get funding, they do market research, they speak to their friends, they try and find consultants, and 3 years later, they still don't have a product. They're in a different cave, but it's still a cave, right? One person builds without testing, and then the other person tests without building. Both of them end up in the same place with nothing live, no real data, and just essentially the idea of a product that has never actually been tested. The system I'm about to show you is designed to get you out of both of those caves. So if you resonate with either of those, this is going to get you out of both of those, because what we're going to do is build something and try and sell it before it's fully finished, really. Try and actually get out there and sell it before you have completely completed it or perfected it. We could spend a long time perfecting things. And what I'm going to do today is show you how I would build the scrappy version of a product, quite honestly, and then sell it. And then later, once I've got that proof of concept, if people want it, I've got that validation, now I'm going to refine it, and I'm going to improve it, and I'm going to work on it, and I'm going to develop it. And then we get into, the refining and developing stages rather than the conceptualizing stages. So 5 steps. Here's the shape of it. Here's what we're going to do today. First thing we're going to do, if you haven't already got an idea for a product that you want to sell, we're going to mine it. We're going to think about, what is it that you already have, that you already deliver, that you can use? And then the second thing we're going to do is a hand raiser test. We're going to test if anybody wants it. Now, there's 2 reasons why we do this, but we're not going to necessarily lean on this too much. But there's 2 reasons why we do it. Number 1, we want to create a little bit of intrigue and a little bit of noise, which will kind of preempt when you do come out and start selling it, you've built up a little bit of anticipation and interest. Number 2, It's going to give you an indication whether people want it, but we're not going to lean on that too much. Even if you get nothing back, the best test is to put it out there and see if anyone buys it with the minimum possible build. So we're not going to lean on that too heavily, but we're going to do it anyway because it's a good thing to do to build anticipation, awareness, and interest. Number 3 is we're going to build it. And then we're going to let the launch be the test of whether anybody wants it. And then number 4, we're going to wire up the pipeline so that when someone buys it, they get an automated email and they get the product delivered. And then 5, we're going to let that feed the content engine. I'm just going to explain that later because that's going to be overwhelming. Let's get through the product first and I'll show you what we do with it afterwards. But that's what we're going to do today. So let's get into it. And before we do, let me come and check in with the chat. You guys are a bit quiet today. I can see, I hope everything's working as it should be, and that we're live in the right place. Let me just double check that because sometimes there's a problem with YouTube. It does like a weird thing. And if you are watching on the replay, let me know. Drop me a hashtag replay. Cool, we are there. Let me just double check. Yes, all is well. Marvelous. Yeah, let me know if you're here, guys. And if you have any questions as we go along, then please do drop them in. I'll try and make sure I get everything answered. And of course, if you're on the replay, do the same thing, because I will check back later and see if anyone's got any questions. If you're watching on my Facebook personal page, I can't see the questions that easily, but I've got Jennifer here who is keeping an eye on things. So she will let me know if there's anything burning. So hopefully I will receive your messages from the ether wherever you are. I can see we've got Wendy. Wendy Wind Blows. Welcome. Great to have you with us, Wendy. Let me know if you have any questions as we go through. Also, let me know, guys, have you got an idea for a product already? Are you like, oh my God, I've been doing this thing for ages and it's gonna it would make a really good low ticket product. Have you got an idea for what that could be? Because if you do, that's gonna be really helpful. And if you don't, it doesn't matter. We're gonna go through step 1 now, which is mining what you already have. I'm just recalibrating my notes. Okay. All right. So look, the first thing I want to say about building digital products is that you've probably already got one. And I recommend this as a concept for someone who's already in business, someone who's already got clients, someone who's already doing the higher ticket stuff. You already got one-to-ones, maybe you're already selling courses or whatever it is that you do. If you're not service-based and you're doing something different, whatever that is, you've got the main thing already going. Digital products, as in like low ticket things, like maybe it's a mini course or a PDF or some kind of guide or some kind of resource. These things are low ticket, meaning like less than a couple of £100. Could be £5 quid. $5, £5, €5, €5 Australian dollars, whatever country you're in, right? It could be 5, it could be 10, it could be 50, it could be 150. It just depends on the value of it and the audience and what it's worth and all the things. But low ticket, meaning like it's a small number. It's not a £3,000 high touch coaching program do you know what I mean? So what that means is because it's small ticket, in order for you to really get it changing the game for you or adding to your revenue or becoming an income stream, then you need to be able to sell it in volume. Now, it doesn't mean you need to have a huge audience right now. You can work on that. Like even if you sold a couple of them a month at £10 each, it's a start and it can build with time. But my point is that you wouldn't want to start here. If you're thinking of starting a business right now, don't start here. Start with a higher ticket thing where you can make less sales for more money and work with less people. It's much easier to really get to that place where you're replacing your employee income with business income. But if you are a bit further on in your business, you're like, I want to start adding new streams. Like I want to also have a passive side of things. And when I say passive, by the way, I mean, you're not delivering the product. You've created it and you're now selling it. You're not delivering it. It's never passive in the sense that you have to create it, you have to market it. There's customer support. Like there's loads of things that make it not passive, but the thing that becomes passive is the delivery of it. You're not exchanging your coaching time or your consulting time for money anymore because you've got these things. That requires you to have a bit of an audience because you need to sell it to people. And if you haven't got an audience at all, or you're completely brand new to business, you might find that quite challenging and you want to focus on the high ticket things. But if you're already there, this is going to be perfect for a next step for you. So have a think then about your ideal client, the person that you've been working with. What do you keep giving them over and over again? Or what is something that you keep banging your head against a brick wall about, or a question you keep being asked, or a really cool tool that you go through with your clients that could be packaged up as a singular thing on its own? So I'll give you an example. I teach people how to look. Well, I don't actually. I have an agency that runs your own live show for you. All you have to do is show up and deliver, like I'm doing right now. Everything around it is done for you by my agency. Now, that's a big done for you program. So things that I can do are pull out bits that could be DIY that I could package up. So I could show somebody how to do, I could create an episode research system where I'm researching for my clients what the best episode is for them to deliver next, based on what's performing well on their channel, based on what's performing well in their niche, and also the competition as well. And I could package that research system up and I could sell it as a product. I could sell it as a one-off thing. I could sell it as subscription access. I could sell it as software. I mean, but what I would want to do first is sell it in the scrappiest iteration that I could, so that I could test whether people would buy it. Now, the scrappiest iteration of a research product would be to give someone a research process and teach it. Teach them the research process, how to find out what should be your next episode on your channel or on your show. And that process can then be, it can be either videos of me teaching that, or an even scrappier way of doing that could be just a workbook. I just have a workbook with AI prompts and, different ways in which to teach people, different ways in which they can implement it in a really straightforward way without needing me to build, a big piece of software that they can use that does it for them. That would be like the ultimate, wouldn't it? For me to create a software that I would then sell and have a subscription. But I'm not going to start with that. That would be wild, because it's going to take me so much work. It's going to be iteration 10 before it's ready. And then I've been the mystery books man. I've spent ages in a cave building something I don't even know if it's going to sell. So I'm going to start with a really scrappy iteration of that, and then test it and see if anyone buys it. And if they do, then I go, okay, how can I tighten this up? How can I make it more of a thing? How can I make it deeper? How can I make it easier to implement? How can I turn it into this? How can I turn it into that? It can become a course. It can become a membership. It can become, it can become things. Really can. So we want to start with that. And if you've already got an idea, then great. And if you haven't, then that's where you want to look. You want to look at the stuff you're already doing. Now, you have to do that with your ideal client in mind, because it could be stuff that you're using for yourself. That would really work. But let's say you're a photographer and there's stuff that you're using in your photography business. Well, you could package that up and offer that out, but that's going to be relevant to your peers, most likely. It's not going to be relevant to your ideal clients. And this is where we want to think about the long-term customer journey here from this product, because the great thing about low ticket products is that they are really awesome leads. Like, let's imagine you have lead generation where you offer a freebie and you get people signing up for it. Those leads are really valuable. But the ones that have actually paid for something small, they're even more valuable because they are even warmer. And it highlights that they are likely to say yes to something else. If they bought something from you, they're likely to buy something else from you. And so we want to be thinking about using this low ticket product as kind of like a really good lead magnet, and not just a cul-de-sac where it's like, okay, I sold that and then that's that and whatever, and move on and think of something else to sell. It's like, no, what else could you offer these people that are buying this low ticket thing? So you don't want to just package stuff up and sell it to your peers. You want to think about your ideal clients and what would be useful for them, package it up for them, and then have in mind, like, what would be the next step beyond that? What could be the next step in the process towards working with you on your bigger product, your bigger package, your bigger service, whatever that looks like for you? I hope this is sparking ideas for you. Please just dump them in the chat as we go, like in the comments. Let me know what ideas are coming up, because I've really loved to brainstorm with you. And also it gives me an idea of the fact that you're getting this. And also it's just fun to share. So do share. Okay, so the Thinker is the product that I'm going to show you how to build with. And that is just something that was already part of my day. And it's relevant to my ideal clients because they're business owners. And it is something that I built. It's an AI powered machine that prioritizes my tasks for me so that I don't end up playing it safe and burying myself in busy work. It is insanely life-changing, this thing. And it's so brilliant that I had this idea that I really wanted to turn it into something that people could implement and adopt. And so that's what I did. So it's already part of my day. And then what I needed to think about was, how can I make this simple for people to adopt and implement? And so all I did was write down the process and kind of organize the process. So I had it laid down, because it's very easy for you to operate in your mess, right? But when you want to, let's say you were going to bring a new person onto your team, you have to organize your chaos so that you can translate it to that person so that they can understand it and then adopt it. And so this is what you need to do when you create a product, is you have to simplify it and create a process so that you can translate it to someone and they can understand it. So I started to think about, how could I translate this system to somebody? And in that process, whilst I was in the thinking process of turning this into a product, I did step 2, which is the hand raiser test. The hand raiser test is really simple. You're going to go to Facebook, and if that's your main place, I'm going to go, let's do a hand raiser test now. I'm going to show you what a hand raiser test looks like. I'm laughing because I'm being a bit mad. I'm not. Well, no. Do you know what? Let's do it. Let's do it together now. How can I share my screen? Oh yeah, I need to press that button. Is that going to share everything? Yeah, you've got the infinity and beyond. Oh, and hey, I can see that Wendy Wimblows is Lisa. Oh, hey, Lisa. I was with you earlier on a call, so it's good to see you again. Right. Okay. So here we go. We're gonna test the fit. We're going to do a hand raiser test. And that is, I'm thinking of putting together a guide that shows you how to launch a low ticket product. Who wants that? Type me in the comments. One character. Right. I want that black. I want a black background. Some people do a red background. I find that harsh. White on black is really nice and easy to read. And these posts catch attention. This is all you need to do for a hand raiser test. Little post out there. Type me in the comments. If I put an S there, it's going to take away the black because I'm too many characters. So I either need to get rid of a character, or I'll just put type me below and then put like a pointy emoji. I'm actually just going to post this because I am thinking of that. We'll see what happens. Guys, go to my Facebook personal profile if you want that. But yes, there we go. You're actually getting it here on this video. So that is the hand raiser test. And that is all you are going to do. And what that's going to give you potentially is some information on whether people are interested in that product. Now, spoiler alert, you might not get any engagement on that post, but you might also get loads. We want to take that lightly. If you get loads, jump up and down, scream, shout, shake it all about. That's really cool. If you don't get any, you're not going to throw this idea in the bin because that's not a good enough test. You can't base whether you get a response on a post like that enough on whether you should actually create the product. And look, here's the truth. When I was thinking putting the thinker together as a product, I did that just like I do with most things. And I got tumbleweeds. Nobody said they wanted it. In fact, I had one person reply saying, "Don't be crazy. That's not possible." Because the thinker, when I explained what it did, it is insanely good. Like, it's amazing. You WhatsApp it, your ideas and your tasks, and it sorts and organizes them all out, and then it prioritizes and it tells you what you should do based on what your biggest priorities are in your business right now. And it builds you a success day every day that looks like, I'll show you real quick. It looks like this. And it tells you, morning, boss. Right, big week. The upgrade launches tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. And it tells me all the things that I need to do for all of like what I've got coming up, right? And this is just based on what I've put into that dashboard. So that is the thinker. And like when I promoted it, people were like confused, I reckon. They didn't really understand what it was. It takes a bit of explaining to explain a concept like that. So I didn't get any feedback. And I could have taken that and gone, oh, all right, well, no one wants it. I won't bother. And just moved on to something else. But I know that that is not necessarily enough data for me to base that decision on. What I need to do is put it out there and see if anyone buys it. And so I took the thinker, I turned it into a product, I rocked up here on the show, I did a walkthrough of how it works. Before the end of the day, I'd made sales and people had bought it. I was like, oh, okay, this is interesting. And a couple of weeks later, I did a 2.0 version where I showed like an extended version of it. I packaged that up into the 1.0 version, gave it to the people that bought 1.0. They now have both, and then sold it again, and I made sales. And so if I had listened to that data off of Facebook, I wouldn't have gone ahead and done that. So take it lightly with a pinch of salt, because remember, the algorithm might not be pushing that post. So there might not be visibility on it. And also, you might not have worded it in a way that makes people understand. And so they might not have said yes to it. So you want to give it a test, and a bare minimum test at that. So enough talking. Let's go in to the next step, which is actually starting to build it. So we've done the hand raiser test. We've taken the response with a pinch of salt, and then built step 3 is that we're going to build it and let the launch be the test. So I'm going to show you exactly how to do this, but we're going to do it fast. And I'm going to basically be a bit like Art Attack, where I'm like, this is what I did, and then this is the result, rather than walk you through everything in complete details. But just to let you know, inside the strategy lab, which is my community where I essentially give you all of the strategies from the show every single week and lay it out in a step-by-step way, I am going to be turning this into a playbook that will have a lot more detail, and will give you the prompts that you can use in a templated way to go and go and use Claude to get your product created, and we'll give you a whole step-by-step guide. You can jump in today and get that for free. The membership is $4 a month, and if and you get a 7-day trial, so you can jump into it, get today's for free. If you want to stay around, it's $4 a month, and if you don't, then you can jump out as cancel anytime. But that is where the resources from today's live show will be, and there will be a lot more detail in there for you to go through and implement this step by step. So jumping into my Claude, I'm going to get my Claude up. And we're going to do it kind of Art Attack style, as I said. So first step then, really, and you can just brainstorm with Claude about this, is starting to put together all the bits. So I've started this conversation with Claude when I had the idea, and I walked through the whole thing. And I got to the point where I was like, I had created the thinker with Claude anyway, so it's got a bit of context. So I was like, do you want me to show you the system, or do you already understand it enough? And so what I then did is what the thinker is it's a few make scenarios in make.com, which is an automation tool, and you can export those automation scenarios in JSON files. So I exported those so that Claude could read them, and I also gave it a copy of the screenshots of the thinker so it understands everything that it does. And then it digged into it, and then what it did is it's made me a flow chart of the whole process. And then I'm just basically checking that it's got that right. I'm like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then, getting it so that it's got full understanding of the process. And then now we're into creating a PDF that essentially just explains that whole process as a downloadable. Now, what I got from the output there is, I think, a setup guide. And I also made a system map, or got it to make a system map. So I've got the setup guide here. And then it's just a case of going through the setup guide and making sure, it's 18 pages, making sure that everything is correct there, that it hasn't invented anything, because AI does make mistakes and you have to check it. You really do, because it just will fill gaps that it doesn't understand. I also got it to make a system map that went inside the strategy lab, so that somebody could come along and have a look and build it themselves. Like, I wanted to be able to teach the system so that you could build it yourself, but then if you wanted the shortcut, you could just download all the things that you can copy and paste, and it makes it easier. So that was the thinker system all mapped out. Now, once I'm starting to build up these assets, then what I can do is I've got the map, and I've got the setup guide. The next thing that we'll want to do is to start thinking about how we're going to present this to somebody. So that we're going to need a page for, some kind of delivery page. Now, if you think about it, how it's going to look, in fact, I wonder if can we go to Canva and just basically draw this out a minute? Let me just open up a whiteboard. Okay. I do not want it to be brown. Let's go with yellow. It's a happy color. Right. So let's say we've got this here. We just want to we want to map out the process so that you understand kind of what we're doing. Is that going to be black? Let's just make it bigger so that we can see it properly. Happy days. Okay. So step one is that we want to think about the journey. So what's going to happen is we're going to promote the product. And then that promotion will take people to a sales page, which contains all the info plus pricing. And that will have a button that then takes them to the cart page. Oh, all right, fine. And I was going to try and make them smaller, but it didn't work. Cart page. And then the cart page, once they've submitted their payment, they will be taken to the delivery page. Also, we want them to get an automated email which delivers the delivery page. DP means delivery page, okay? And then afterwards, you can think about your customer journey and, what you want to do beyond that. But just in terms of delivering the product, that's what we want to do. Is we've got these things here. So in terms of that, so we've got to get the product ready. We got to think about, what do we need in order to get these things ready? We've got to get the product ready. So I like to work backwards. If you start trying to promote the product before you've made it, you're going to be a bit confused and have gaps. If you start trying to write the sales page before you've got the product nailed, then you're going to have gaps. same with the cart page, etc. So we want to essentially come up with the product first. We're clear on the process. We've got that down. And then we think about the delivery page. And then we're going to make the cart page and the sales page together from there. And then we're going to create the promotion for the product. So the delivery page then is what we need to work on. So I wonder if I think I started a new thing here. I don't know. I'm going to walk you through the chat rather than take you through. I was going to do a dummy run, but I think it's going to take too long. Okay, so back in the chat here. So once we've got the process down and we're back and forth refining that process and things that need changing and the next thing we need to think about is, what do we put on the delivery page? Now, for the thinker, there were quite a few things that go on the delivery page. Like I had to give it the JSON files to import to make. I had to give it the setup guide. I had to give it the prompts. And there were some other things that we needed, like some knowledge files. And there were quite a lot of ingredients needed. Yours might be really simple. Maybe it's a calming audio that you've created. And so that's just one ingredient. You just need a page that's got the link to the calming audio. The way that I would do this is, once we've got all these ingredients, what we need to do is we need to host them. And we need to put them somewhere so that people can download them. Now, I use Go High Level. I absolutely love Go High Level for this kind of thing because it's all in one. And in Go High Level, you have something called media storage. And you can click on media storage and then basically upload whatever it is you want in here. So I've created a folder called The Thinker. And inside The Thinker, we've got all these things. These are all the ingredients plus a couple of other things for Thinker 1.0 and 2.0. So you could just put your calming audio in here. And once you've got that, you just click on the three dots, you go get link, and it copies the link of the location. What that means is, when somebody clicks on that link, it will just auto download it to their computer as a file. And here it is, now downloaded, this lovely here file, which is here, the knowledge base workbook. Yeah. So you need somewhere to store them. So you get your ingredients and then you store them in the media storage. Now you want to save these links, because what we're going to do next is we're going to make a page with Claude, a delivery page. And we're going to tell Claude, right, I want you to make me a delivery page that's going to host these files. I just want to check that you can actually see my screen. Just suddenly had a thought that, imagine if I was going through all of this and you couldn't see my screen. Yeah, you can. Right. I want you to create a page that is going to host the delivery. It's going to host the calming audio or the thinker files. And I want you to, this page to be essentially the thank you page. And so we're going to ask Claude to create that. And as you can see, I'm back and forth for ages getting this map and everything, how I want it to be, and et cetera, et cetera. It is a bit of a process because obviously you want to make sure that it's right. And then once it's right, I could just click on this, I think, and I've got all my things here. There we go. Thinker delivery page. And here it is. Now, this is just a page that Claude has created. And it looks amazing, doesn't it? One thing that's made it look great is the fact that I have my branding aesthetic guide that we created in. There was a video where I taught you how to create a brand aesthetic guide, and it's the video. I will link it in the description, and it is how to create images with Gemini. And in that video, I show you how to create a brand aesthetic guide for your business. And so I have this brand aesthetic guide here that I then use to make sure that everything is uniform when I create documents, when I create images, and all the rest of it. And so it's always the same font, it's always the same shade of pink, and it's always the same vibe. And so it's put together this page. And then when it comes to images, this is actually an image that Claude has created, but Claude can't create images outside of very basic blocks, and it can't do what ChatGPT or Sora can do and create fantastical images. So you have to host the images that you want to use inside your, oh, I keep going to a different tab, but it's actually here, inside your media storage, and then give it the link to that, tell it what it is, and then it will basically be able to embed it in a page. And so what I've got down here on this page, this is all Claude generated stuff. I haven't hosted anything right up and apart from I've given it the links to the download links for all of the downloadables for the product. And then these white boxes here, this is actually a video embed. And these are videos of me going through and doing full builds of the thinker. And I've just given it the link to where it is on YouTube or the embed code. So you essentially build the page here, but anything you need to give it to have maybe you want to have an about Cordelia or whoever, you insert your name here, about you section and an image of you, you need to give it the image of you, and you need to give it the storage location. So you just upload it into your storage location here. You can, if you're using WordPress, your media storage on WordPress will do. It just needs to be somewhere where it can grab it, where it's hosted, and then it will grab that and it will put it into the file, and then it will be on there. You will not be able to see it in the preview because the image doesn't display here. But if I was to can I open, should be a button that says open in Chrome, but because I haven't got it, it doesn't. Here we go. The Thinker sales page. No. Anyway, so there we go. So if I was to click on the Thinker sales page, open in Chrome, it's only showing me the version from the computer. But now, because I've got it on Chrome, it can now display the images. Whereas if I was to open it here, it's just displaying a blank box or this here broken image thing. Yeah. So do not despair if you can see that. You want to then click on the open in Chrome to see what it actually looks like. So that's your delivery page. And if you're only delivering one thing, if you're delivering a PDF or an audio or something, that's going to be a lot more simple than my delivery page. My delivery page is big because there's loads of files I'm delivering and it's a setup. I'm basically teaching someone how to build a piece of software on Claude. Like, it's big. So there's a lot involved and it's complicated for that reason. Now, the next thing, once you've got the delivery page, what we need is a sales page. And again, it's the same process, but what you want to do is create copy, and you want to be thinking about your ideal client or your ideal user of this product, where they're at and what it is that they're experiencing right now. That is the reason why they might be interested in this, so that you can create a headline at the top that's going to hook them in. And then you want to be able to articulate what the benefit of buying your product is going to be and how it's going to solve that problem. That's copywriting in the smallest possible nutshell. We need a whole tutorial on that and how to, do that. But essentially, this is what you'll end up with: a system that prioritizes your ideas. Stop carrying it all in your head. I'm speaking directly to them, what they're experiencing. Voice note your ideas into WhatsApp. AI evaluates them overnight against your actual priorities. Wake up to a briefing that tells you exactly what matters. 4 tools, fully automated, yours to import. And so this is the page. Now, you can get really creative with Claude pages. Claude just out of the box pages are just text, right? But you can get really creative with them. Because if we open this in Google Chrome, once we've got the stuff done, you think about, okay, well, what images could I include? You want to show people what is in the box. Don't just have a bit of text and a buy now button. Have some images that demonstrate, like, oh, this happens and that happens. And you know what's really cool? You can, on this version, it doesn't have it. Let me go Cordelia Kate /thinker. You can get them doing stuff like this. All you have to do is ask Claude, can you make the images interactive so they turn around and show a benefit on the back? You can embed videos. Again, it's just a case of giving Claude the link to YouTube, and then it will embed that video. And then there are images down here. I've got them to turn around, and you can get it to do really cool things. And again, it's just about hosting that image somewhere and giving it the image link, and then it can embed that image onto the page for you. And so how this works then, and how you actually get this page produced, is what we need to do is come into, if we go into sites on Go High Level, and then we go, let's go into websites or funnels, exactly the same thing, doesn't matter. Let's go to Cordelia Kate, let's click on new page, demo, create new page. Whatever page builder you are using, this will be the same. Oh no, hang on. Create from blank. This will hopefully be the same. Essentially, you want to strip everything off the page so it's completely bare. Make sure there's nothing on it. And then we're going to add a code box. And what I also like to do is all of these boxes, they come with some padding. So I'm going to reduce all of that to 0 so that there's no padding anywhere. For the purpose of this, I'm just going to leave it as it is. And then inside this code box, I'm going to open the code editor, and I'm just going to paste the code from Claude. If I click on copy, it's going to give me all that code now. I can see what it looks like by clicking that button. It's going to give me that. And then I'm going to paste it into here, and I'm going to press save. I am not going to be able to see a preview of what this looks like on this page. I'm going to have to hit this preview button or publish it and then view it on the main link. But if I just hit that button instead of publishing it for now, you can now see that this page is hosted and it is live. It's not, because I haven't published it. It's on demo version in Go High Level. But anyway, it's there and it's ready to go. So that is how you get a Claude page onto your website. It's as simple as that. And if you want to edit the button, you decided, oh, actually, I don't want it to go to that page anymore. I want it to go to a different page. Or if you want to change something, all you have to do is go back to Claude, get it to edit the code, and then you copy and paste the code in again directly into here. Brilliant. Someone has started shredding a tree outside my house, and we're on Restream, which has no sort of sound cancelling. So you're going to be able to hear that. You're welcome. Let's hope that this does not become impossible to watch. Okay. So that's how you get the thing on there. Now, what you can see on this page here on the preview is that we have a lot of white space at the top, and also there'll be a lot of white space at the bottom, and that's not great. I'm a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to these things, and it's just about getting rid of that padding on these boxes surrounding the code. You get rid of all that padding, and then happy days, that white space will disappear, and you'll just have it ceiling to, it'll just look like this. /thinker. See, it's just, and obviously there's some space on the sides, but the top and the bottom is wall to wall page. There we go. Happy days. So just a little recap of what we've got so far. We have created the product. We have taken that product and we have created a delivery page that delivers that product. We have taken the delivery page and put that to one side and then gone and created a sales page. What we need now is the bit in the middle of the sales page and the delivery page. And the easiest thing you can do is to have a Stripe payment page. So you go to Stripe, you click on the plus button, you say create payment link, and you set up the payment link in here. So I can choose my product or I can create a new product. And I will go the Thinker full system, 147 quid, create link. And then I've got the link to that. And what I can do is go back to Claude and say, here's the link to the cart page. Can you please put that behind all the buttons and then get the code with that now edited, put it back on the page, and then publish it, and then test it to make sure that when you click on this button, it takes you to that cart page. Now, on this cart page, we have the ability to edit where it goes and what happens after. So if you click on, oh gosh, I'm not going to remember how we do it now. Oh yeah, after payment, you can show confirmation page, or you can replace with something else. Where is the, bear with me. Don't show confirmation. Oh yeah. If you click on don't show confirmation page, you can put your own page here. This is where you will put the delivery page, so that once someone has completed the payment, the delivery page will load as the thank you page. And you don't want to solely rely on that, because sometimes it might not load. And so what you also want to do is have an email set up in your CRM, so that you can then email people that buy it. Now, the scrappy way of doing this is to keep an eye out for any sales that happen, have Stripe notify you, and as soon as one comes through, run to the computer and ping the email. Another thing you can do is set up Zapier, which is a linking tool that links two products to two softwares together. And so what you'll do is you'll set Zapier up so it's watching for a payment of £147 to come in. And when it does, it will send that person and their details to your CRM. And you want to set it up so it'll tag them. And then that tag triggers an email to go out. If that's alien to you right now, don't worry about setting any of that up. Don't worry about it. Set it up so that you've got the delivery page on the as a thank you page, and then we'll figure out the emails later. This is one of the things where we try and do the bare minimum to test if someone's going to buy it. Then we build on the fancy stuff later. We develop the process later. We automate later. There's no point spending ages figuring out how to automate an email if it's a new thing to you, if you haven't sold one of the products yet. Let's sell it first and then figure automations out later. So let me just check my notes, because I think that's pretty much it. But there might be one or two things that I am missing. Yeah, no, we've got pretty much everything done there. And that is how you create the product. Oh, hang on. Why am I? Hang on. It was not. Okay, I'm confused now. What's going on? Hide. Hey. So that's how we create the product. The next thing that we just want to think about is, once you've got that and it's set up and it's ready to go, how are you going to promote it? What's going to be the way you're going to tell people about it? Now, we've done the hand raiser test, and you might find that you've got a few people that said, yeah, I want that. And if you do, then you can go to the hand raiser test post and you can write underneath, amazing, it's ready for you to grab. Here's the download link, and you share the link to the sales page. Or you might decide to do an online workshop where you walk people through it, or you might decide to just use sales posts to promote it. There's lots of ways in which you can get the word out. I obviously have a live show, and so I would use an episode on the live show to talk about something related and then pitch it at the end and get people going to that page. And you want to try and do something where it builds into your current system, so that you don't have to build a whole new system for selling. And the easiest thing, if you haven't got a system, if you don't have a show, if you haven't got something that you're already doing that you could promote on, like an email list or anything like that, and it's just you and you're on social media and you're just posting content and hanging out at networking events, and that's kind of your marketing strategy right now, then you want to create a bit of anticipation with that hand raiser post. And then you want to go and say, it's ready, I've made this thing, here's the link to download it, and announce that it is available. And then put some posts out on a regular basis to let people know that you have this thing and it is available to grab, and promote that, they go and check it out on that page. So that's how you create the product. The next thing that we want to think about then is letting it feed a content engine, and how we can then take that to the next step. Because this product, the Thinker, just to give you an example of how I did that, wasn't the end. I didn't create it, promote it, and then it was the end. What I did is I then used that as a way to kind of create more content to populate my social media account. So it became an episode of the show. It actually became 2 episodes of the show. It's now technically 3 episodes of the show because I'm now showing you how I did it. And so I have, used that to create content which promotes it and gets people looking at it and raises awareness of it as a product. The other thing is that once you have people pay for it and they come through, you want to treat them now as kind of like low ticket product leads, and the relationship has just begun. The purpose of marketing is building relationships with people. And if somebody has just bought something, do you know what that says? It says, I trust you. I trust you a little bit. I trust that you are going to help me solve my problem. Otherwise, they wouldn't put their money where their mouth is. And so what you can then do is think about enhancing that relationship even further. Is there a next step? Is there a further thing? Is there a one-to-one call that would lead them into something else? Do you have a community? What is the next step of that relationship so that you don't let that go cold? Because they bought that thing, which means that they are interested in what you do. They're very warm right now. And let's continue to further that relationship. The low ticket product is the door. It's not the goal. It's the door. It's the beginning. It should be the beginning of a whole new relationship with that person and with that person and your business. And so you want to have a pipeline. You want to show them what else you do so that you can invite them to the higher ticket work, and you can have a conversation that a social media follower never gets to have with you because they've got that deeper connection to knowing what it is that you do. So the thinker is the beginning of a journey for people who buy it, right? And it means that I can then think about what is the next step. And I'll be honest, things are a bit scrappy at the moment because I'm in building mode. I'm building loads of threads and loads of things everywhere. So I don't have the perfect pipeline yet. And it's okay. I don't need to have it. I haven't had anything that I've upsold to anyone that bought the thinker, to be honest with you. I have not got that in place yet, but it will be something that I'm consciously thinking about and something that I do next. And then also, letting it feed the content engine. The thinker, as I said, it became this episode. It became short form clips as well. It became social media posts. It became something that I put into the strategy lab as well. And one product, I got sales from it, but I also got loads of content from it. And that's the last step. But honestly, it might just be the most satisfying one because it's where you realize that the system is doing more work than you are. You created this one thing and you can do so much with it and get so much out of it. It's not create a product, see if anyone wants it. Even if they don't, try and promote it once, you didn't get any sales from it and then just leave it. It's use that product that you've just created to feed your content engine a little bit and talk about things around it, talk about things related to it, and talk about it a lot, and also share that content in different formats so that you've got that going out in posts, in reels, in videos, in lives, and emails, and anything that you can think of in terms of repurposing it. So one product, one system, and then everything is connected. And that's it, really. The last point I just want to make and kind of reiterate really is that and honestly, I think it's the bit that nobody wants to hear because it slightly punctures the dream, but I think it's important. The passive income fantasy and, the idea of having PDFs selling whilst you sleep and revenue that runs itself, laptop lifestyle, being on a beach whilst you've got a business self-automated running in the background. It's real, but it's incomplete. And if that's where your strategy ends, it does become a bit of a trap. The way you want to treat these passive sales and the way you want to use them in your business, if you're really serious about taking this and enabling it to get you to the next level, is you treat it as a relationship building exercise. It is the first step of the next part of the relationship you have with your ideal clients. You treat low ticket products like you treat lead generation, lead magnets, and you take that to the next level. That is enabling you to really build a warm and mighty audience of people that you get to know and that feel like they're a part of what it is that you do. Marketing, and the purpose of marketing is building relationships. Marketing is relationships. And I know that sounds like something you'd see on a motivational poster, but I mean it practically. The thing is that if you are building relationships with people, you're enabling them to grow to know you, to like you, to trust you. You're building trust with them. And the people that buy the thinker, I want them to know what else I do. And I want them to find their way to the show. I want them to find their way into the strategy lab, into the real conversation about their business. I want them to think about the fact that they could have their own live show and come and talk to me about that. The product is just the start of that. It's not all of it. So build the product, use the system, get it out there, and know what it's for, know what comes after that, and use it as part of your ecosystem rather than having, the dream of selling whilst you sleep, which is a great dream to have, but just make sure that you're awake for the relationship building part as well. That's all from me. My name's Cordelia, and this has been how to launch your own product. And I hope that you have found it useful. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. I would love to answer them. And as per usual, of course, jump into the strategy lab where you can grab the downloadable that goes with this episode that walks you through the entire step-by-step process in detail, including all the AI prompts that I use, and have templated for you so that you can apply them to your own business and every single step so that you can follow along. As I said, you don't need to have Go High Level for this. I'm just using it as an example. You should be able to use your page builder and any CRM that you use. But what will happen is if you follow that step-by-step process, you'll get a bit of a shortcut because it's going to give you all the prompts and all the steps without watching this video again, but also without reading your scrappy notes again, and in a way that you can copy, paste, rinse, repeat. So yeah, that's all from me.